Ready, go.
Okay.
Hold on. Is it going to cost me anything? If it's not already.
We'll get there. I know. Okay, so we want to thank everyone for coming today to celebrate with us. So I thought it would be a great opportunity to tell the story of Christine and Dave, since all of you may not know it. And those of you that do know it may not know it in its entirety.
Hey, use those pictures.
Jim, grab my gun.
So I'll preface this by saying that multiple sources have contributed to this story. So they're here. They're all here. It all began when Dave sent me a message on eHarmony. Oh wait, it all began when I finally chose to answer said message a mere 4 weeks later. Dave always likes to stress that part of the story. If you aren't familiar with eHarmony, the way that it works is that the communication is guided at first. So in other words, you have to follow their prescribed method of communication before you can actually speak to each other. So he began by asking a series of questions. For some reason, I answered, where would you like to spend a Saturday night with a professional sporting event? And I am sure that answer was the one that sealed the deal. As many of you that know Dave know, he is in fact obsessed with sports.
Nothing wrong with that.
However, it was almost a deal breaker that I said I would like a partner who shares in my love of health and fitness, as Dave has absolutely no interest in eating remotely healthy or working out. Surprisingly, though, that didn't scare him away. One of Dave's make or breaks was that he wanted a financially responsible partner.
What are you still doing here? I haven't heard anything yet. What are you still doing here?
I know. Because that's true
In fact, on our 4th date, we planned our whole life together, including, of course, our budget and savings. So finally, we were allowed to communicate via message, and as Austin will tell you, Dave sent me a far too long 5-paragraph essay that started with, "My mom is a nurse too." The 6th paragraph contained his phone number, and he was allegedly shocked that I immediately texted him. And he was in Florida at the time on vacation with his family, so we exchanged some texts back and forth, to the point that it became noticeable to his family and they started to ask about me. But tragically, Dave proclaimed the relationship was over a mere 12 hours later because I hadn't answered a text, but I had in fact stalked his eHarmony profile at my normal wake-up time of 4 a.m.
4 a.m.
Luckily, on the 13th hour I answered and it was back on. We agreed to meet, and I thought for sure my odd request of meeting for 2 hours on a random Wednesday for dinner when I was baby-free would surely scare him away. But Dave excitedly exclaimed he loved eating dinner at 4:30 p.m. We can't agree on how many vodka clubs I had, but it was surely one too many, as I spilled my entire life story to him in those 2 hours. I thought for sure there was no way this guy was ever going to text me again, but to my surprise, he sent me probably the nicest text message I've ever received just a few hours later. And at this point, my mom is already texting me for the update saying, "Don't say too much, you'll scare him away." Due to schedule conflicts for both of us, we weren't going to be able to see each other for a couple of weeks, so Dave went out on a limb and asked if he could bring a bottle of wine over to my house that Friday. And apparently one date and a nice text message later, I was convinced he was definitely not an ex-murderer, so I agreed. At this point, I decided that I needed to get cheese, and I stressed for an entire day about the cheese. I'm talking gourmet, 4 kinds of cheese that I couldn't even eat because I was too nervous, and I even arranged it on a cheese board, and those of you that know me well enough are probably surprised I even own a cheese board. I didn't try to kill him with my cooking until the 5th date. So by our 3rd date, I told Dave I was in love with him, and he said it back, except because he is always right, he had to launch into an argument about how that was definitely not the same thing as saying I love you. I had surgery a couple of days later, and the first thing I texted when I woke up was apparently, "I love you, I love you, I love you." And I was on a lot of drugs then, so it must have been the truth. And so the rest, as they say, is history. Sometimes you meet someone and you just click, you're comfortable with them like you've known them your entire life, and you don't have to pretend to be anything. 2 days, 2 days was all it took to fall in love with you, Dave. And I hate to admit it, but you're right, babe. I didn't fall in love with you. I walked into love with you with my eyes wide open, choosing to take every step along the way. I do believe in fate and destiny, but I also believe that you're only fated to do the things that we choose. And I choose you in 100 lifetimes, in 100 worlds, in any version of reality. I'd find you and I'd choose you. And to our family and friends, it means the world to have you here. We couldn't imagine celebrating without you. And to our parents, it is written that when children find true love, parents find true joy. So here's to our joy and yours. From this day forward, may our love be like good wine, grow stronger as it grows older.
Cheers.